Yes. Anyway, why don't we have you read now from Megastar?
I will do my best, if you'll forgive me. Not the greatest public speaker, but let me just introduce it by saying this picks up immediately after young Addison has won the show called Sing America Sing. This is immediately after. In his dressing room, Addison sat alone, reliving all that had transpired in the last 5 days. He dropped his head in his hands and wept. Lang, Ben, Andy, and Julio entered. "Hey, those better be tears of joys," his agent Lang said with a broad smile, "because you, young man, you won the lottery like we knew you would." Addison stood, walked to his friend and neighbor Ben, who had traveled to New York with him, and hugged him. "Thank you, Ben. Thank you for everything." Ben's face splayed into a wide smile. Just about now, the little old town of Addison, Alabama, is celebrating big time, Addie. Lang shook Anderson's hand vigorously. "You were amazing. Now we wait for the office to roll in, and I promise you this, they will." "So wipe those tears away," his other agent, Andy, said. "Toss some cold water on your face, and let's go to the reception and meet some of your new fans." Now, I'm going to stop here and explain that after the show, the producers always held a reception on the stage. So Ben handed, a gentleman, his friend Ben says, "Gentlemen, can we give him a minute to call his mother?" Ben handed Anderson his cell phone. The room cleared and Anderson called his mother. Now remember, there's a very strenuous relationship between them, but they try to be nice. His mother, Lacey, he says to his mother, "I did it, Mom, I did it." His mother, Lacey, was crying. "I'm so proud of you, Andy. My phone's ringing off the hook. Now you go enjoy yourself and remember to hold your head high." "I will, Mom." "When do you get home?" she asked. "I don't know yet, Mom. It's up to Lang and Andy and what happens next. Call me when you know. Love you, son. Love you, Mom." When they arrived on the stage, the reception was underway. Lang whispered to Anderson, "There are many music industry big shots here. Don't be intimidated. Tonight, you're bigger than all of them." Addison smiled, but inside he was scared to death. As he entered the reception area, the entire gathering applauded. Stan and Sally Potts were the first to approach. "Hi, Anderson. I'm Stan Potts, and this is my wife, Sally. We're the producers of the show." "Oh, yes," Anderson said, "of course. Nice to meet you." "I want to thank you for this opportunity, Mr. and Mrs. Potts. Believe me when I tell you your life is about to change dramatically, and that's an understatement," Sally said. "Congratulations on your amazing first-class performance. My wife knows when a talented newcomer is about to fly high, young man," Stan added. "Stay focused, and you'll fly higher and higher." The 4 judges approached Addison and shook his hand. As Addison moved through the crowd, he smiled and thanked well-wishers, but did not converse with any of them. His head was swirling. None of this felt real. He would need time to process it all. Someone tapped Addison's shoulder as he and Ben approached the buffet table. He turned and came face to face with a beautiful young woman with large, penetrating blue eyes that sparkled like diamonds. Reddish blonde hair touched her shoulders, and he noticed she had a great figure to boot. "Hi," she said, "I'm Hannah." She took Anderson's right hand in hers, cupped her left hand over the back of his, and gently squeezed. Her grip was firm, and her hand was warm. "That was one hellacious performance, Mr. Stone." Addison's heart skipped a beat. He couldn't take his eyes off this stunning young woman. He stuttered, "Please call me Addison." "Are you in the music business?" She said, No, not me. A friend from the production staff slips me a ticket whenever I can make the show. Nice to have a friend like Hannah," she says, Hanna, without the H at the end. That was my mother's idea. Now, H, Edison repeated. After tonight, young man, everyone will know the name Addison Stone. Addison blushed. I don't know about that. Trust me, she said. They will. What's next for you? Well, that's up to the sermon agency who represents me. Well, Addison Stone from Addison, Alabama. That was my mother's idea. I'm happy for this opportunity to have met you. Hannah glanced over at her watch. I promised to meet up with friends after the show. Good luck to you, Addison. She hesitated before turning to leave and stared at Addison as if to say something, but she didn't. She just stared. Are you going to say something? Addison asked. No, I mean, yes. When you sang Your Love, several people near me had tears in their eyes. The same is true when you sang Time to Say Goodbye. You sing with great emotion, and it touches people. That's a gift. Thank you, Hannah. Well, she says I have to go now. Best of luck to you, Addison. I'm sorry. Hannah turned and began to walk away. Addison blurted, boyfriend? Addison, getting names mixed up here. Hannah turned back and asked, what? I was just wondering if you were meeting a boyfriend. She says, I don't have one. Addison smiled again and said, me neither. I mean, a girlfriend. And Hannah said with a chuckle, we both need to get a life. You take care now, Addison Stone. She turned to leave again. Addison, what's with the names, Bob? Hannah called to her. Hannah turned back over her shoulder and said, yes. I was wondering if could I see you again sometime? Hannah thought for a moment. Yeah, okay, I would like that. How long will you be in New York? I don't know, Addison replied. Hannah took out a small pad from her purse, wrote her cell number, and handed it to Addison. If you're going to be in town for several days, call me. Oh, okay. Addison smiled. I will, I promise. Hannah tossed him a thumbs up and began walking away, but stopped, turned back, and smiled. Enjoy yourself. Tonight you are on top of the world. Be well, Addison Stone. Call me if you can. Addison, the shy introvert, was clearly smitten by this young creature, lovely creature. Hannah, he whispered low as she walked into the crowd. His eyes remained locked on her until all he could see was the top of her reddish blonde hair. Like a wisp of wind, Hannah was gone. Ben, standing nearby, had been watching the exchange with amusement. He inched closer to Addison and whispered, see something you like? What? Addison said. Ben chuckled. There's going to be a lot of pretty women circling you before long. Don't know what you're talking about, Ben. Let's eat. I can take it another page if you want me to. I'm going to jump ahead, and
okay.
He gets back to his to his hotel room. He can't wait to get back. He wants to make a note in his journal. He's desperate. He wants to make the note. He says, tonight was magical, he wrote. Not only did I win the show, a mind blower in itself, but I met a beautiful angel named Hannah, who moved me in ways I have never experienced. She took my breath away. I hope to spend time with her before Lang and Andy send me off to parts unknown. God, was Hannah beautiful or what? My challenge now is taking Ben's advice and moving beyond the past into the future. Will I be able to do that? Why do I question myself? Why is it so difficult to accept what happened to me? Why?
Wow.
I hope I didn't stumble too much.
No, it was very good. You did a good job.
Yeah, but I failed to mention, by the way, that he has a stammer from his childhood, and it comes up when he gets nervous.
Interesting, but not when he sings.
Oh no.